were all the same.
I kept trying to make a deal with the mayor that, okay, we're up, whoops. All right, we're gonna call to order, the Board of Supervisors meeting, February 28th. We've already blessed everybody. First thing up for business is election of officers. I'll entertain a motion from somebody on the floor what their pleasure is today.
Make a motion to volunteer Steve Gaines to be president.
Second.
Is there a motion for, it's all right, so motion, Mr. Gaines become president of the board. Second by motion by Mr. Bishop, second by Mr. Morrison. All in favor say aye. All opposed like sign. Welcome to the world. Is there, I'll let you go ahead and grab this. All yours.
Yeah, you president, you got to run the rest of the show.
Yep.
Mr. Prez.
I'm looking at Craig.
We come
So
back
we have
behind it
to
with
assign
a
a
vice president to Mr. Bishop, right? And it rotates
Right.
back to the lovely.
Yeah, I make a motion that,
I feel sorry for you making that motion for him to be your vice president.
Yeah, man.
But nobody.
against my better judgment. No, I make a motion that Jay take over the vice president's seat.
Second.
It's your
Yeah,
ball,
you gotta
baby.
say it all.
Oh, I gotta say it all. That's fine. I'm in.
Hey, good man.
I got. We have a motion and a second. I made the motion and Daniel second.
Any discussion?
Any
I got some
discussion at this time? No discussion.
No discussion.
All right.
All in
All in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Any against? Same. All right. It passes. Jay, you vice president, take over from here. All right. Let's see. We've had the election of officers, and we're going to move down to Craig Slade. Come on forward, Craig.
Thank you, Mr. President. The first item under my section, and the only item under my section, is an action to approve an amended fee schedule for Stantec under the Agreement for Services, which is a maintenance contract for traffic lights and county street lighting at Spillway Drive, primarily in the reservoir area. This change adds the line item for an administrative service charge of $75 an hour, no other changes to their fee schedule. So they have an administrative part of their process that was left off of the original fee schedule. So this is simply cleaning up the documentation to
So
account for
until now, they were not charging us any, what, we gave
No,
them
sir.
additional work outside the scope of their,
I think what happened, Jay, is that the administrative functioning under the contract was being handled, but it was being billed but not shown or reflected in the contract. So this is cleaning up what was understood to be the process from the start date. We've been paying for administrative services. It just wasn't reflected on the fee schedule as a separate line item.
so I know we pay them a set amount of money to keep our equipment operating. But what about when we add a light, like what we did on Old Fannin? How do we go about, how do they bill us for that?
They actually charge us an hourly rate in accordance with the functions that you see on this sheet. Do you have your sheet in front of you there? All right, so their supervising engineers, $195 an hour. Their senior transportation engineers is $175. Their traffic engineers is $155. Their senior traffic signal tech is $125. And their administrative functions are $75 an hour.
You get everybody involved.
This is for anything new outside of their normal work.
Yes.
All right. That's it.
So we're just cleaning up the documentation and getting the fee schedule accurately to reflect what the deal was understood to be.
So moved.
All right, Daniel makes a motion.
Second.
To approve.
Jay seconds. The motion to approve this. Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? All right, let's move on. Ms. Laura?
First thing I have this morning is appointment of Wanda Martin as the interim county administrator, effective, and that should be March the 1st of 2019, and adjust compensation. Janice was trying to keep me here an extra 20 days, and I appreciate that.
Second.
Where was the first?
Bob.
Bob made a motion that we approve this. Jay seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Good to see some things aren't changing.
Laura?
The next item I have is approval to renew our HVAC service agreement with Environment Masters for a period of 1 year beginning March 1, 2019, at an annual cost of $103,144, and authority for the board president to execute the document. Next year it will have to go out for quotes again.
So moved.
Ouch. Second.
All right, we have a motion from Jay, second. Bob, any other discussion? Just for the record, this is about what we've been paying
This
over the
is
last
the exact-
three, exact.
This is the exact
Over
amount
the
that we
last-
have been paying.
Okay.
But there, we
and-
can only renew for this
One
year,
more
so
year.
around next January, it will need to go out for quotes to be put out.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Motion passes. Ms. Laura?
Next item is review of the agendas for March the 4th. Y'all have any
Jim?
questions?
Anybody have any issues to bring up, any discussion? All right, additional business, I don't need to make any, there's no motions or anything on that, is it?
No, it's just review.
All right, any,
Yes, sir.
additional business? to
Under
be
additional
discussed?
business, we do have, if y'all remember, I had asked, Johnny had come to me probably 2 years ago. We'd been looking at the roof on the DHS building that has leaked from time to time and is an old roof. The quote, he got a quote, and it was, I believe, around 100 to 150,000. But because of that, it does have to be bid. It does not have to be a reverse auction, but it does have to be a bid. But there is nobody to write any kind of specifications on it. Craig has looked over that too. So I did get some information from JH&H. Carl is here. They did say that they would be able to do this service for us, which would include a visual inspection of the roof, the existing conditions, to design and draw any specifications that are necessary for the bidding, and to oversee it, the contractor, the construction based on the low bid, and to provide administrative services to include shop drawings, site review, and everything like this. The estimated cost on this re-roofing for this type, Carl says it'd be around $400,000. That's higher than what I thought, according to the specifications.
We have not, yeah, and it may, you know.
It could be much lower.
Yeah, because that's just, I'm not even sure what type of roof's on there. It looked like, from Google, a built-up roof. And so we're seeing those run $15 to $18 a square foot. And I just Googled 22,000 square feet. It may be much smaller.
And once the specifications are done and it goes out to bid, then we'll get an accurate cost
And
then
it
of what.
depends on if it's just the roof membrane leaking, or if it's the parapet, or if it's flashing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the,
Don't know what's leaking.
no, that's right.
And look, just to add one other thing, too, I know this is the Human Services building on Marquette, but on the same side of that, EOC's had leaks. I know you've had leaks inside your building on the rain events. What's your roof? I mean, is yours bad too?
In my opinion, it's in pretty bad shape. We came in one morning, almost the entire kitchen ceiling tiles were in the floor. Mike can verify this, he saw it too. The bathroom, you can go in and look up through it, the ceiling tiles have not been put back on it, you can see daylight through it. And also in the big room in the back where the sheetrock is coming apart, where it's leaked down there, it's probably an inch of water in it.
So my question
Right, I know there's-
is that one worse than this one? Can
Sounds
you?
like we got two with a problem.
That I don't know. Quite a few of our older buildings like that are having problems right now. And
Same
I do
type-
know
same
that,
type
that
roof.
EOC has been repaired in the past, not re-roofed, but just repaired.
Same type roof, I wonder.
It's metal roof. From what I understand,
No,
what
this
they
is
did
metal.
was they went and pulled all the screws out and put new screws back in. That was their roof repair. What I was
Well, that does help, that really does.
does.
I mean, a lot
That
of
does
times
help a
that
lot
helps.
of times because the
Yeah,
the seals
the
dry
20,
rot.
25 years.
That's a standing seam
Start
roof.
coming in.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. It's a standing seam roof. But, as far as that, I can't
Yeah,
answer
I
that.
mean,
I know the building was built in '92. If that helps. you.
Mike, is yours have pitch to it or is it flat?
It's got some pitch to it, but and some of it's flat as well. We got flat and pitch. And the flat part, when you get a big rain, it's gonna back up and come into the, server room where you got, just to tell you, where you got about $3 million worth of infrastructure.
Let's
put a flat roof on.
Let's handle this, I mean, if it would be okay, we've got this one on the agenda. Let's handle it and then maybe add somebody inspecting his and see what we need to
least
do
get a
there.
get a price
Yeah,
on it.
get a,
Yeah.
Carl, can you let us know if this is gonna run like that dog pen? I mean, where, I mean,
No, it won't. Now,
I mean,
again,
if you-
I've
I'm talking
Googled.
about your fee,
Yeah.
you know, because we got to pay you whether we put the roof on or not.
Right. The Google Earth of the DHS looks like to me it's got a slope. It's a single slope all the way to the back. So, and the picture I had originally of it when it was put on, it was a very clean, simple roof. I'm not familiar with the EOC, and
Yeah,
again, I'm just going through aerial views. But we could look at the EOC and see. You're right. Sometimes just taking the screws out if they've rusted and putting new ones with washers. That's what happens with
The
a
washer,
Right.
right.
washer, sealing it
Rubber
up.
Yep.
But you've got spaces, you're telling me you can look up and see daylight. That shouldn't
Well,
be.
that's
Yeah.
something else.
It's
Yeah,
where
that's
the
something
water's
else.
coming in, it's running down all the soffit and fascia,
No,
all the way around.
yeah, he got more problems.
He got that sounds like flashing and other things.
Right.
My fear is if we got that much radio, that I hate to.
No, I agree with you, but I mean, yeah, he got some more serious problems, but, metal normally doesn't just start leaking in a piece of metal. It's
No,
gotta
and
have some way to
we've been re-roofing almost all these Rankin County schools, and some of them are metal, some of them are built up or single membrane, and until somebody can look at it and see, and we normally get a roofer involved to, sometimes we have to do thermal imaging just to see what's going on.
But I guess my question is, can Johnny not go out and look at that? Or as far as EOC's roof,
He can. He was the one that did.
instead of sending Carl out there on the EOC's roof, can he not go out there and say, hey, we need a new roof on the EOC building?
Or look at it and see,
Just
I mean,
let-
I think I can go look and tell you some ideas. So, I mean, John, what I'm saying,
But
John,
do that, please. Yeah, I mean,
no, I'm
you know.
saying, it's something we can look at, and you can tell it's flashing.
Right.
I
And
deal
the
with
other
some of my
problem you
metal
get
roofs.
into sometimes, and I don't know, again, I didn't see it. If you've got roof equipment on top of these things, that's the source of a lot of leaks. You have to, and then that gets to be costly taking those rooftop units off because you need a crane a lot of times. I don't know what's on any of these roofs, to be honest
Right.
with you. I
I
just,
mean, I don't know. I've never
And
been
the
on-
only reason I brought it up during the thing, since we're talking about this one, if we got roof problems in multiple spots, then
Oh, yeah.
Johnny can go out and inspect them to see what problems. He's aware, I believe, of all the problems at EOC. He's had some repairs done to it in the past, and he can look and tell what kind of roof is there and what needs to be done. Our problem is because of what it's going to cost on each one of them, that causes us to have to write a set of specifications to bid, and we don't have anybody that
Yeah,
can
right.
write those.
Right.
All right.
So if you want to let Johnny visually inspect both of them, if you want to include the EOC as far as a design, if it's needed,
yeah,
I think
just
main thing EOC, I think right
we'll
now,
keep the water off
EOC,
the
yeah.
yeah,
we'll go out
keep the
there and
water
look
off the $3 million worth of
at it.
radio.
Kind of looked at the other one, and we kind of got an idea what the other one is.
from what I can see from the aerial, yeah,
Right.
it looks like a fairly clean. There's something on top of it, but I couldn't tell. I don't think they appear to be too small to be rooftop units, but they could be vents or fans. But there's a bunch on that human resource. I just don't know what they are, but
Okay.
that may not be a complicated thing.
We'll
either.
check it out. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna find out and then let him know where he can write the
Right.
specs? Is that what we wanna do?
I
Let
think
our-
we can get up there and find out what's on the roof, so he'll know whether it's roof vents or.
And that's gonna
or
be Johnny or
units.
Yeah.
maintenance?
Yeah.
If it's just a matter of writing specs, that's very low cost. Typically, we wind up doing some drawings because other stuff like flashing's involved, but if it's just writing a roof spec, that's pretty
Okay.
straightforward. That's all that's
All right.
involved in it.
All right, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Or whatever.
Well, we approved.
This is
Actually,
to
roof
Judge needs to write the
write the
specs for
specifications for the roof for a bid.
All the reflex.
Authorized
What's
to
a
look at
motion?
it.
Sure.
All right, any discussion? I think I had a motion from Bob and a second from Jay. My concern is that before we go any further, Johnny gets his evaluation and makes that available to you.
Yeah, if
And
he
then
tells us what he sees, we can write a spec around that, if that's all it is.
when he comes back and gives us that, would you get with,
I will make sure he understands that.
With-
But
too.
Laura's not gonna be
I know
here.
Wanda, that's who I'm pointing at. Get with Wanda, and Wanda, you let him see what we got.
Yeah, and we can get with Johnny, because I'd like to discuss with him what he saw.
Okay.
And if he's got a, phone or something, take some pictures would be helpful.
And is this
Oh,
for,
yeah.
are we gonna go ahead and do it for both buildings, or right now are we going to
I would
only
look-
We
include
look
the?
at both.
Look at
Don't do
both.
both.
Look at both of them with Johnny and get the list is my thinking.
I think so, too.
Can we amend the motion to add
Yeah,
that
that's
we're
what-
including
EOC's building.
That's fine.
With the Department of Human
I'll make
Services.
the motion, we amend that to what Mr. Slade just said.
Second.
All right. Bob made a motion, Jay second, any discussion? Take a vote, all in favor? Any against? All right, passes.
The next item, Carl can stay right there because the next item is discussion of the preliminary cost projection for our existing Chancery Court building renovation.
Let me,
Give him about a $25,000 budget, see what he can do. But that, what's that
One.
HGTV show, the Fixer Upper or whatever
There
it's
you go,
called?
yeah.
pretty good
You got
deal.
my packet, we've got one page.
Y'all need to see if they're available because
Oh,
when we talk to contractors, we get whole different prices on these things. Although we did, I will tell you, we just bid in Northwest Rankin High School this week, and it actually came in $20,000 under our estimate, which is, I would say that's good architecture, but I will tell you honestly, it's luck. But anyhow, this is a breakdown of what we, on the Chancery building, where we're at right now with preliminaries. And we broke it down to each little area going on the first floor. And you can see the biggest area is Renee's area, community development. And I'll tell you that now, the renovation costs are going, everybody thinks they're fine, but right, in this current market, nobody really wants to fool with small renovation projects. So the unit costs are higher. But we try to break down each area. Some areas are not much, VA area, the coroner's area, the new break room stuff, they're pretty small. But when you add all that stuff together, it comes up to around over $500,000.
This is just the first floor?
Mm-hmm. Now, that price could go way down if we can reuse the existing floors and if we're just repainting the walls. But like in the community area, we're going to have to relocate lights, may need some recircuiting. We're going to have to relocate some duct in there, as opposed to like 911 addressing. And at the very end, there's a plan of what we're doing. That probably won't have to do much of any relocation of duct or lights, some minor. And then, of course, the other cost is if trying to enlarge those bathrooms, public bathrooms that meet ADA and do that. Now, that may require getting into the slab with some plumbing, and that's why that cost is higher. We really haven't, all we've done at this point is just some preliminary based on some programming needs. We haven't had a chance to get in there and do some inspection to see exactly what the existing conditions is. I haven't had any engineers look at it. Based on our understanding, the roof is in good shape, basic mechanical units are in good shape. So when it comes down to mechanical and electrical systems, we're just putting some allowances in there. And again, they may not be much, but you get an electrical subcontractor or a mechanical subcontractor, and they come out there for a few hours, you're just paying more unit prices because it's just in order for them to come out there with the amount of work being done. And I will tell you, we only got 2 bidders on the new high school, and it's a $38 million project. The low bidder was Thrash, which is a local Rankin County. So that just goes to tell you that there's a lot of work out there right now.
Wow.
In this area.
Carl, is there any like load-bearing walls having to be moved in
No,
this?
I don't think so. And again, we're using the old plans. So what we're doing, Jay, pretty much is just moving non-load-bearing walls upstairs. The load-bearing walls appear to be the outside walls and the 2 corridors from the plans that we have. And again, we haven't done any structural analysis.
And we haven't done anything for election commissioners downstairs.
Jay, look on your sheet that shows you the layout.
Yep.
You see Judge Grant's courtroom on the left as you're heading back?
Right, Carl, that, we
That's
have
it.
that, you see the big blank white on the left here? That's Judge Grant's existing courtroom, other than the little corner taken out for the break room, and that's not designated for anything right now. It could be that the election commissioners could go in there with their desk, cubicles, or whatever, and then the basement could be used for storage as is. The furniture will be out of it, there'll just be rooms and not have anything
You
done
could
there.
basically leave it open and only repaint the walls and things. And it appeared to me that the main corridor, the carpet was fairly new, so we were gonna leave that. And really almost the ceiling tile down that main corridor and lights, all that could be left is, unless you wanna upgrade to LEDs or something like that, which is an option.
Do we have anything here for the, I mean, is the health department even occupy anything anymore?
They have,
Oh, yeah.
yes, sir.
I know
right
that, but I
here,
mean-
They're
just,
back over there.
just one
Okay.
office here. You know, they only work
When that
out of
happened.
the little office up there.
They
There's
never
one
really
lady
left.
that comes a few times a month, is all.
Okay,
They were originally going to move out completely
Right.
and work out of their homes, and everything was going to be done online. But they are having a small presence, a few days,
okay, that's
just to
good,
help
that's
people.
good. Man, that
And
was-
it worked real well with it being right there,
Oh,
then
I
just
agree.
across
I'm
from
glad.
Renee's and
So
all.
the square footage that this empty space is right here, what does that compare to the existing space with the election commissioners currently? Because I know they're already requesting more room.
Yeah,
I would
how
say
big
it's
is-
about, it would have to be at least the same size, if not a little bit bigger.
What do they need more room for?
I said they were requesting
I
it.
mean, what are they requesting
I
for?
don't know.
What do they need?
Well, you know, they have,
Storage,
those pads,
The
you know,
yes.
and I will say this, they may want to actually move all their actual voting equipment over here, because the warehouse is not a good place to
Right.
house all that, because they
There's
have to
no
go there, there's
restroom.
no facilities.
There's no restroom.
that's
Right.
right, in the
Downstairs,
basement.
right now, is a courtroom, so it's a big room too, and it's heated and cool, right?
There's also a large storage area that,
Mm-hmm.
Chancery Clerk files, and all those are gonna be relocated to the new building.
How big is how big is downstairs in comparison to, I
I'm
mean,
thinking
square
it's
footage?
kinda like Sam's top.
It's about it's 5,000.
No, I mean, you don't take the whole thing.
It's about 5,000 square feet,
Okay.
if I remember correctly. I looked at the plans, and I can't
There's-
tell you,
That's good.
I can go look and see how much, I've got a plan of the, I think I do, of the current existing election commission.
Yeah,
It's not 5,000 square feet, but it may be bigger than what we've got there. It may not be, but I know this space would not handle the voting machines, because we did that up in Madison County, and that takes up a lot of space, the voting machines.
You don't think the downstairs will?
No, the downstairs
Oh,
would,
downstairs.
but this upstairs
I
would
can see
not.
that. I think what Jay's alluded to, let them have both. I mean,
Yeah.
if-
No, I was just thinking having downstairs period.
have everything, that's kind of what I thought, but,
The only benefit that I can see, Jay, is, well, the major benefit to housing them office space upstairs is that the renovation cost of the downstairs was probably gonna be a lot more significant, just by virtue of its location, by
It's
virtue.
chopped up more.
Right,
It's,
chopped.
it's, the load-bearing aspects of it, all that, the duct work, the electrical runs.
We don't have to have the finest of the fine, you know, I mean.
What
honestly,
would have to be
I don't
done
understand
downstairs?
Why we can't, even on the top, I don't know why we can't have a residential contractor come in and do this work.
It just depends if they're licensed to do it.
I mean, if they're a licensed contractor.
It's kind of like us requiring commercial contractors to do commercial work. You know, I mean, we don't allow residential to do commercial.
Well,
But this is no,
Well, it isn't.
No
I get your
construction.
point, Jay, but I don't know how you're gonna say, you can't do it this way, but we are. I guess you could do it, we're on government, but.
I mean, it's basically just a remodel.
it is a remodel, but see, we hadn't even been to the city of Brandon. They may make us sprinkle this
oh,
building
Lord, no.
to get a
Well,
permit.
the downstairs, back to it, I don't understand, what else gotta be redone down there?
I don't know that
You
anything
probably have
does.
to rip out courtrooms.
If
All
you're
them
gonna put people,
expensive
if you're gonna put
courtrooms.
people down there, is that what you're saying? If you're gonna put
Sir.
people down there?
Actually, in my head, it was primarily storage area for election commissioners.
Yeah, I think he
At
would
least
do
in some of
better,
it.
and again, I haven't looked at this, but as I remember, there's the egress and the codes and accessibility down there is not good.
Parking.
So storage, it would make better. But again, we have not met with the election commission, but they're basically they're not there a lot anyhow. I mean, you know, they're generally not there, except on election night, I guess.
They tell you they're there more than,
Yeah.
they'll tell you, they'll argue that point.
They have to come in and do work,
Mhm.
during the week,
Well-
or supposed to anyway.
Well, again, going before the city of Brandon, getting a permit and getting a certificate of occupancy, I mean, they're gonna look at all this stuff, and
So you don't think we just go ahead and do all the work and don't tell them?
Can you turn off that recording?
That's what we didn't know any better, you know, just ask for forgiveness.
Forgiveness, that's what it always works. you
Yeah.
know, that,
Well, the other thing, yeah, we're kind of like the attorney there. Anything we do has to comply with codes and everything.
So on the downstairs though, I mean, the election commission has no one coming in to see them. So I really don't see the issue.
That's where we always thought that would work fine for them. That's the reason we thought
If-
downstairs, because they didn't have traffic.
Yeah, I think at the time we weren't anticipating an entire block of
Yeah,
space being
that's-
open
Down-
and potentially usable by the commissioners.
What?
Well, downstairs would work for them. It's a large space. It could have their storage plus offices basically existing the way it is. They could almost each have their
Yeah.
own office, so to
That's
speak.
what I was thinking.
But they have already said that they want to be in on the renovation of the downstairs that they're going to use.
All right, let me ask you this: is this everything that's in the bottom of Old Justice Building right now? Is this everything on this map?
That's just the top.
No, but I mean, is this
Oh,
every
that's in
office
the
that's down there
Justice?
around?
As
I see the Veterans Affairs,
Yes,
Health Department.
yes.
Yep.
That
Is there any
empties,
other stuff that's
that,
there?
that,
911
em-
addressing?
that
Where's that
empties
on there?
out the old
It's at the,
courthouse.
where the Chancery clerks, as you come in to the right, that's 911 addressing.
Oh, to
Yes,
the
where
right.
you
So
see
you
the
come
au-
into the right.
Where you
Right.
see the workroom, office,
Mm-hmm.
file room, that's
See,
I
theirs.
don't know why I was thinking that was that word spot, but I guess it's not. Is it? 911's not with you?
No, it's
I
not.
thought I was thinking 911 was out of EOC.
No,
but
it's not.
No.
No, they're not.
It really needs to be by
Got the corner with
community development. Right now, it's inconvenient because anyone comes in and build a new house.
Yeah.
You have to go downstairs to get your 911 address, then you go upstairs to deal with your building permit. They really need to be together.
Be to be
anyway.
together. I got you.
That's
But
why
they
this
fall
is
under who? They
good.
fall under? They fall under Renee's office.
They're under Mike.
They're under mine. Is that messed up?
Well, I mean,
I'm asking. I don't
no,
know.
I mean, they need to be.
I was thinking-
I would think for the the customer, better flow. I would think they need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are, according, they'll be up in this front part, right
Right,
next to
right
Renee,
there.
and that is a good, that they'll all be
Is
on
there,
one
is there
level right
anything
there
else we're
together.
missing downstairs in the bottom of your
The
building?
coroner is over there on the very bottom, but
He's-
what
He's
are
got a
our
place,
He's got a
the
spot.
the
Coroner.
coroner
I know,
is
but
down
what are our
where,
plans with the old courthouse? I mean, are we gonna keep the AC and everything on?
Got to, I have a choice.
The record
Sheriff.
sheriff, I think you have.
the front portion of it, that is the historical portion, I don't believe we can
We
just
can't mess with
mothball
that.
it, we
So are
can't.
we gonna heat and air that whole building?
Sheriff, can I interrupt? They're asking about the existing Justice Court building. What's going to happen to that after we get everybody out of there and into the old Chancery building? What are the plans,
Brian, you
if
got
any?
some schemes working over here, man?
Yes, for the basement at the old courthouse. Yeah, and I can actually use, my drug seized money to do it. I'd like to move the gym out of the jail to the basement up there, and I can pay for redoing it.
You're gonna move the gym out of the jail, yeah.
And put it in the basement
In
where,
the basement.
Does it
So are
get
we
used
gonna
very
use
much?
the other two floors for
It'd be
storage?
more if it wasn't in the jail.
Yeah.
like I said, the front half that's on the historical, we can't do
At the front 40%.
yes, we can't do anything with that. The back half we can use for
And
storage.
I asked Johnny Jones, and he's budgeting for it coming up. you
A
know,
new
in fact,
AC unit?
Yeah, to make, get it up to what, 75, 74, 75, I mean, you don't have to keep it cold.
Right.
But I mean, you gotta do something
Right.
to stem off the
Right.
mold
Oh,
and stuff
right.
like that. So, but he's planning for it in his budget.
That's just.
Originally I thought we were really trying to just, kind of abandon it. I mean, move away from it. And now it sounds like we're fixing,
Occupied.
yeah.
So we've sort of been kicking around some ideas. Couple things. You got to go all the way back to 14 or 15. We went to the Department of Archives and History when we started talking about this whole process originally, because there was concern over what happens with the original court building. Archives and History came out. They did a preliminary review, and their findings are that what amounts to the front 40% of the building is historical, has historical context and must be preserved. They will not release that. The back 60% of the building, which was the 1957 edition and the 1988 edition of the elevator on the outside, that segment was unofficially declared to be non-historical and could be subject to renovation. But we need an official declaration from Archives and History to do that. So before we get too deep, we want to retrace those steps.
So we just keep that front facade and make the rest of it a parking lot.
Yeah, so if Archives and History gives you the wave off, there's a couple of things that come into play there, Jay. What are you going to do? What is the county going to do to take the back 60% off and not mess up the architectural character?
I really was hoping we would let Archives have their darn building.
Well, I think there's always the option, Jay, that we can find a way to lease that front 40% to an entity, a nonprofit, that would then take responsibility to protect it, preserve it, turn it into a museum.
The whole reason we got away from it was for ADA issues
Correct.
and everything else.
That's why we would want to lease it to a nonprofit entity who would take responsibility to heat it, cool it, have the power to it, keep it maintained, protect and preserve the character of it, turn it into a museum. Yeah, there's all sorts of options.
Yeah, because the whole thing was, like Jay said, from way back, was to try to, when we had all the problems with it, then we knew we had to build another courthouse and all, and we were going to really pretty much leave it.
Well, at one point we thought that what we may do was some sort of interim stage, and we want to know how much of the original courthouse can we modify. That was the purpose for going to DHA.
Now, on the inside, we can change it all up, right? I mean,
not the front 40%, no, sir.
The front part.
Everything you do has to be approved by them. Now, they're a lot more lenient on the inside. But this board made the right decision. I don't know if you noticed a few weeks ago, there's been a lawsuit filed against Hines County courts for not meeting codes and ADA.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know how much indemnity they have, but you would have spent a lot of money. Not as much as a new courthouse, but it wouldn't. But there's just, this board made the right decision.
But it was too small and everything. I mean, we did the right thing. I agree. The problem now, we're backing up.
Right, is what to do with it.
Looking at how we're going to start using it again.
Yeah, you're right.
We're still stuck with the problem that we had then.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking about storage. We probably need to rip out some walls and whatnot, just to have it a big open area, you know.
Right.
But
And we're talking about the back 60%, right, Jay?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, the back 60%.
Thank you.
Yeah, they don't want nothing to do with the front.
All right. Well, for right now, though, we're looking at the preliminary cost for what you give us.
And once if you decide to go forward, we can get in there and look and see and make, the problem you get is like if the floor's in good shape and then you start moving walls around, then you got these, you can't get the same stuff and it looks packed. So what I'd have to do is come back to y'all with some recommendations. It may be a whole lot less. It may be the mechanical and electrical. We hadn't looked at that. And again, I've got to go to the city of Brandon and see what they're going to make us do, because that could throw a whole monkey wrench. I mean, generally, the rule of thumb is if you're not doing more than 50% the value of the building, then you can stay, you won't have to bring the whole building up to codes. But that's open to the interpretation of the local jurisdiction. In this case, it's going to be the city. So we'll just have to sit down with them and see what we can do there. Because if you have to sprinkle the building, that's another $50,000-$60,000. But my anticipation is right now that we would not have to bring this whole building up to codes. The current codes, other than egress and life safety.
Well, Laura, how does his estimate fit in with what we budgeted and have been planning for on that building?
Well, we had $500,000 extra.
That's what I I was thinking in my head.
250,000 went in that parking lot.
We should be able to, with some of the interest that we're making on our money, on our bond money, we are allowed to make interest up to a little bit over 3%. With some of that, and hopefully we don't go any more into any of the contingencies, we might be able to hit it within the structure without having to go too far over it.
Well, I do have another subject to talk about in the
Okay, we
whole.
don't.
Well, you might need to stop there.
You sure this is the right time to do this, Carl?
Probably not, but I'm trying to make sure that y'all make decisions making on all the information. And I'm gonna bring Tim into this because I'm so tired of talking about dirt and debris. And that's really not what we architects do. That's
You don't want to get into that dirt
that's
stuff.
them. As you may remember, on the misdemeanor facility, you had approved a change order back a few months ago to remove dirt and debris down there for $150,000. Now, in trying to redo this access road that connects North Street to the jail, they found some more of that there. So we've been developing, looking at price 3 options. One option is to go down and remove all the debris and redo it the way you should, like not to exceed $67,000. Another option is just to bridge over it, the junk that's there. That's nothing. And repave it.
I like that one.
The original plans were to repave it. The only thing is they're not going to, contractor's not going to warrant that work, just like the parking lot.
Right.
The third option is to do nothing, take out what was supposed to have been done, which is repaving, and give the county back $19,000. Now, at some point, if that road is to be used, you're going to have to do something to it, resurface it or whatever.
Which
So
one?
those-
Tell me where it is now.
It's the access road between where the new misdemeanor is out to North Street behind the jail.
I got you, yeah.
Now, one thing complicating all that, and we don't know, and I'm going to need to get with the sheriff. There's a
Do we really want that access back there?
well, that's another question.
It's been there
It's
for
the
a
road
long
going
time.
from
Where
on out
everybody
to
don't have
North
to come
Street.
out up here.
You know, we'd have to have some kind of
Yeah.
access for a fire truck.
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about a new road.
No, it's been
No.
there the whole time.
No.
It's just been a little
Little
rough.
small blacktop road is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
up
it's
like
which
that.
has been
Yeah, the fire truck and the ambulance, we're gonna get back there, and the valley food truck, deliver seeds, like this,
What ambulance and
So
what?
are we talking about the road that goes around to the right of the jail back here?
Just behind
no
the jail.
goes
Yeah.
behind the jail,
Yeah.
comes directly off North Street. It's to the north of the
Right
jail.
in front of the new building, the new courthouse.
It
What
wasn't.
goes
It was
between the two?
basically an access road. It wasn't a wide
Yep.
road to begin with.
Yep.
I don't. And it's been used over the years. I mean, it's.
I'd like to put it back to where it can be used as a service drive with the least amount of cost that we can do. I mean,
I'm good with gravel.
well, there you go.
I mean, really, it's not gonna be high traffic on it.
No, it's not. And let me defer to my expert in this case, Mr. Parker. You can talk about the advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah, the road, before the project started was in fairly good shape. Matter of fact, when they started hauling dirt over to the misdemeanor, that's the route that the Pans took.
Right.
To move the dirt, and it probably took him quite a while. I mean, he did eventually break through the road, but it's just.
So it's got a good base under it.
Well, except for the debris down deep.
How deep?
It goes to 10 feet.
We don't need to talk about it.
Now, and there may be a potential water leak too. There's a fire hydrant just inside the back of the prison there, that when they dug one of their test pits to see how deep the debris was, they pretty much got inundated with water on the test hole. And they were supposed to test, I hadn't heard anything. They were supposed to test it to see if that water had chlorine in it, to see if it was a leak on that fire hydrant, if it was just seeping out of the hill. It's kind of a 50-50, but there's a lot of water. You know, the road was holding up fine before anything started. So, I mean, I know there's debris under there, but, and the geotech, to protect themselves, for the ultimate fix, is saying, take it all out. Don't argue that at all. Personally, my opinion tells me there's a happy medium somewhere in there, with a little bit of risk that it might fail, but if it does, deal with it at that time. Maybe go, I think theirs was 67,000 max to go 10 foot deep. And the road's actually getting widened a little bit too, so it's not It's not just cutting down the existing road, it's cutting down getting the debris out, to the north side where that road's getting, the access road's getting widened a little bit. So I think there may be, it's not in their options, but there may be a little bit of a happy medium there where, we can go maybe 6 foot deep, put fabric down, sand, bridge over it.
I'd clean it up and put asphalt on it and go back using it the way we were using it for the last however many decades.
They just fix the
That's what I
bad,
would
dig the
say.
bad places out a little bit.
And this is not a
It's
road that people are gonna be driving, taking
No,
their kids
yeah,
to school or
right.
shopping, or this is
We
really
got,
the
we got
sheriff's
county road,
department.
county rural roads is
So,
the same.
Yeah, the issue-
Yeah,
the
you-
debris that was moved, that was found over in the parking lot, was it like wood or was it all metal?
There was some
Yes,
stumps and
everything.
everything.
Concrete,
Stumps?
Yes,
stumps,
oh yeah,
Some metal.
yep.
Now, there is a little good news, and I'm hesitant to say this, but I know y'all need good news. I don't think on the original change order on the misdemeanor dirt, I don't think that, we've been told they're not gonna use all that, and we've been told they're not gonna use all that change order on the courthouse, the dirt part. So there's some money's coming back, I just don't know how much yet. But I think it's fairly substantial on the misdemeanor, $50,000-$60,000 is what they're not quite through what they keep estimating.
Got that on recording, right? On tape?
Yep.
But Tim,
Just
If you
want to give
check-
y'all all the information, make a decision. 'Cause
the rural county roads, nearly every one of them, you'd find weak spots like this somewhere on that county road. And, I mean, it's just part of the ground we have in Rankin County, and I'm not gonna say we made a mistake, I will say, yeah, I did. The parking lot in front of the courthouse, I think we went, I mean, because we were in the situation we were in, we didn't have much of a choice, but we do have a choice here. It's just a little service road, it's not gonna be for the public really. And then, I mean, there's signs and stuff out there, that said authorized vehicles only, going to the sheriff's department.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
these have been,
Wait,
So
what, Brian?
The fire department, if they come in, there's already a path back there, from the park truck on Texas Fair. We need that little road, all we need is enough for the veins, check the inmates over there, back
Yep.
and forth, patrol cars come in and go to this mixed, so it's just gonna be, pretty much that part's gonna be, just be like vehicles coming in and out, there's not gonna be, they can do it, or, we'll make they two wheeler come around the other side.
So what
So-
you're saying, my question for you then would be is that if, let's say something bad happens to that, or if the road finally gives out, we have to spend a couple of weeks fixing it, you can divert all your traffic around the other side until we get that road fixed again?
Yes.
Okay, that's
so
good.
what's
So-
in the original project is repaving that road.
That's
That's
what-
all that was in the original.
That would be my
I
pleasure.
think, and just fix the bad spots, just like you would do on any county road, dig them out, to the minimum, like you have to on a county road, and fix it, and then
Hearing what the sheriff just said, and I certainly hadn't had a chance to talk to Mike about this, one of the things the contractor was concerned about is being able to get it to set up to where it would pass a proof roll, which is something we would make him do. Get it set up, which would be, and then the next step would be paving. One option we have is if they get to that point and they just can't get it set up for a proof roll, then we maybe put some gravel on it and let it sit and see if it'll harden up, and then deduct the paving out of the contract and just leave it gravel, if the sheriff's okay with that, till some point when maybe it will, over time, be able to be paved again.
Yeah, you better check with the city on that gravel part though.
We'll pay the city pays the amphitheater part.
Ooh.
it's recorded.
Yeah.
There we go.
I don't want to say that because they may come in there and start paving tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I wonder why.
Pretty sure they are. They said they were.
All right.
I'm with y'all on that. I think we just,
So what do we need to do anything?
I don't think we need,
Just have the
All right.
discussions had to dry on, I guess.
Well,
All
we
right.
do, I need to know because they're getting ready to
We're gonna
start
bridge over it,
work in that area.
we're bridging over it.
Or go what?
bridging over it.
I think that's everybody's feeling.
Just,
We're gonna make it work when the time needs to be made to work, we're gonna make it work.
Well, I think that's what that is.
no, they're talking about digging down 6 foot and
We're not talking about that.
We don't, I don't think we ought to start that.
Well,
We're not
that-
talking about what
It's
Tim
gonna be
said,
12 foot.
but I'm not so sure about the gravel part, but the rest of
Well,
it sounded pretty good.
I mean, if you
Well,
put,
and what I'm saying there is to the point where it tightens up, then you put the asphalt
Yeah,
on.
We need to, when we have this conversation, we need to talk to them about the renovations of the Chancery building too, all at the same meeting. So when we decide to play give and take, we feel like they're getting something, we take it, you know, so.
I mean, the thing that Tim's saying about this 610 or crushed limestone, it will help tighten that ground up and
But
harden
what
it up.
Brandon's gonna want us to blacktop that road going down through there.
Well,
Service road.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we
But they
want
may
to.
give us a year,
I mean,
they may
we
say,
want
you know, if
to-
we tell them, you know, go on record, say, give us a year, let it set up, and we'll
Well,
come
I'll
back
be
and
honest,
asphalt it.
I want us to pave it anyway,
too.
just for all our customers to be able to get in and
No,
out
no,
a
no.
little easier, you know?
Customers won't be running up in there.
I'm talking about the main
He's
road.
talking the other
Oh,
main road.
North Street, you're talking about North Street.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
let's
coming
not-
too,
we're not-
that's coming too.
That's-
That's a
yeah, I'm
different
sure
topic.
we'll
Well, I'm
be
sure it's coming.
doing
That's a
something there.
different topic at this point in time.
Yeah.
Those options
Well, that would be a good,
Option two. is
for like what you
build it
said,
like
when we
that.
start
Right.
talking about
There you go.
remodeling our
We're gonna go
Yeah,
over that.
facilities.
Mr. Slade.
We're gonna do this, and if they can't set up.
Well,
a
they were
roof on
gonna put
So
some
we just know
fabric.
the contractor's not gonna have any liability on the road, on our
I'm sorry.
drive, or whatever you
I
call it.
wouldn't, I honestly didn't expect him to.
Well, I think they can work with Tim and find if there is a weak spot that we need to address. We'll,
You're gonna find out about the leak and everything else too,
Well,
anyway.
that's more concerning to me than anything.
Yeah, we're gonna have to coordinate with the sheriff, because we're gonna have to get the city or somebody to get back, maybe go back in the, it's in behind the fenced area in the backside, where that fire hydrant is, that's where they think the leak is. And as soon as I find out from them if they've tested it for chlorine, if it doesn't have chlorine in it, then it's just the water running out of the hill.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't surprise me with the
No,
rain we've
it
had,
could
it's
be.
seeping out to the hill.
Right.
My
Mike can
goodness.
do a lot
It
of
could
that.
hit a layer of sand,
Yeah.
you know we got clay and stuff there, but it could hit a layer
Oh,
of
yeah.
sand and run through there.
Yeah, comes out from under that asphalt and just keeps on moving, then travel.
That needs to be,
Water, we
that
can do
needs
the
to
road
be
for course.
addressed too, or whatever happens, just make it worse.
Leave it like it
All right.
is. He fix it.
Thank you, Carl.
take it out.
I hope this is the last time I ever talk about dirt.
If Mike can.
How's our building coming?
Hey, Mike,
I was gonna bring you up to.
let me ask one more question that Daniel brought up. If we were to take the road out of the contract, the paving and, I mean, this road, we're talking about an eighth of a mile, maybe, maybe probably something like that.
Yeah.
Can we take that out of the contract and let Mike handle it?
They were gonna give you a $19,000 credit, and we hadn't looked at, Tim and
Yeah, I don't know what
hadn't
that
had a
would
chance
cost.
to look and see if that's reasonable credit or not.
Just to not have the road at all?
Right,
Yeah, let-
not to
Yeah.
do what was in
Harrison
the
do it.
contract.
Might wanna look at that though, can he do it?
I mean, that's what I'm asking. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, I mean,
You do it every day, don't you?
yeah, I mean, we pay $80 a ton, where contractors probably paying, charging y'all $100-something a ton.
I'm talking about 19,000, that a comfortable savings we would save that you could still get it back in shape.
That you could use the 19,000 and put it in there?
Right.
But just
Yeah.
keep in mind, that's coming out of your budget.
Well, we'd have to,
19,000, put it in.
I mean, whatever you spend to do it on, it's coming out of your budget.
Daggum
That'll
business.
be that much less you got to spend this year.
I agree with you.
No, he's taking
No.
the 19,000, they're gonna give back.
Absolutely.
Okay, okay, all right. Just keep that in
It don't
mind.
work that way, does it?
Bishop, Bishop,
Until
Bishop.
Carl shows back up next meeting, in that 19,000 gallons.
But
Yeah.
I think you can do like what Tim's saying, I think you go in there and undercut them places and put some good 610 in it. Let some of this rain slow down some, get
Yep.
some drying time, and then you do it at the right time,
Yep.
you'll get sealed back up.
Deal. Big savings.
I know where the contractor is, he's trying to do a punch list and get through at a certain time,
Right.
and he's can just push it down the road if we pull it out and fix it when it dries up this summer some and do it like it needs to be and get it paid in the dry time of the year and we'll save ourselves a lot of money.
Yep.
And he's not really set up under his contract to undercut those spots and do all, he's just
Right.
really
That's
just
just-
widening it and paving it.
All
Okay.
right.
All right, well, let's do that then. We're gonna do that?
well, I mean, I think we're gonna hold the contractor up and getting finished because I don't know when he's gonna be able to work on that road.
Okay, the schedule for him to finish the misdemeanors, he said the end of April or 1st of May. So he's scheduled to start, he was scheduled to start doing work in that area the next week or two. But So really, it looks like to me, if I understand right, the board's looking at two options. One doing basically what Tim said, or the second one is doing nothing and getting the credit back. Is that, I don't know which option y'all want to do.
Kinda looking at it to credit.
Let me ask this question, can we hold off to the 15th? Or can hold off to maybe Monday? I mean, Mike, can we double check his numbers by Monday to make sure that if we get the 19,000 back, that we're in good shape on his numbers? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
I
not in, yeah.
don't think he's gonna be able to get the road in there and proved, tested, and all this by the 1st of May. I mean, we're.
Not if it keeps raining, he won't.
Right.
I mean, you know, the right things.
That's gonna do that.
It's going, yeah.
This is our rain spring time.
That was
So, I mean,
26 for a
you know,
well
if
Sunday
you need to
night.
wait till the 15th, or if you, Monday or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, short sleeves now.
All right, what else, Mr. President?
No, we have still more. We're gonna go over at courthouse building.
Well,
Do it? Oh, I'm sorry.
just the status. We met yesterday and had a little walkthrough. Mr. Cross arranged a walkthrough with two of the chancery judges and let them see their spaces, and it was all good. They didn't ask for bigger spaces or anything of that nature.
Worthless, man. Worthless.
So, and their schedule right now is to finish in
Skeleton
July.
walls.
The misdemeanor is scheduled to finish May, and I don't think it's just, misdemeanor is much simpler, so that's not gonna be a problem. They've been working at the courthouse overtime, weekends, and at night. They were still working yesterday when we went after 4 o'clock, so.
Wow.
So they're only, according to their pay application, only a little over
I feel lucky
50%
now.
complete, but they're gonna be able to pick up speed now that they're basically working inside. And they've just about got the whole, or a good portion of it, filled in so they can work on the exterior there. So, again, at this point, we've been pleased with the effort being made on both projects. I'm not gonna say can't change, but, it's just, especially the courthouse, just a difficult site and to work around all that, so.
Yeah.
But, and I was intending on asking the board if y'all were interested at some point in the next month or so, making a walk through either one of these facilities. I think I'm gonna, Sheriff, I think I'm gonna get Barry and walk through the misdemeanor just to let him look around to make sure that we've got everything covered, if that's okay.
And I guess, you know, we might start ordering, furniture for it, the beds and, stuff like that.
But that's when they're talking, they told me end of April, I'm saying May on misdemeanor just because of the weather and stuff. That'll give you some time to think about it. And on the courthouse, we've already got all the furniture purchase orders are done. We're keeping them advised on when they can start shipping that though. We're telling them each month not to ship it yet.
What is that game you play where you put squares up there and you put, for you bet on dollar squares like football? We could do that for the courthouse completion day. And we could probably make up some of our
You probably
shortfalls.
could, because that
Good point. Yep.
You could come up with a nice little pool for that.
Well, I think Daniel, were you there when Judge Hayden asked him about the schedule? And he said, "Are you what year?" So anyhow,
We're getting there.
I think that's all I have. Hopefully, yeah. I don't think I have anything else at this point.
All right, if there's no further discussion on this Chancery Court building and the road going to the misdemeanor, do we have a need for an executive?
Wait, hang on, I got some additional business.
No, you don't.
Okay.
One item.
Jay has additional
I know
business.
that obviously y'all are not being contacted about our haul ordinance, but we can't keep sweeping this under the rug.
Our what?
So a haul ordinance or no haul or no truck in subdivision.
I really think that should be the decision for the next board to make.
No, I'm saying
Yeah,
we
I
will
think
vote
it's
on
good.
it.
I think that's a good
I
opportunity.
want it on our next agenda. So we either going to vote to amend it to include all platted subdivision in the county, or we're doing away with it.
All right, that'll work. How about the 15th?
Yes. Yes.
Are we,
15th.
are we set up to be able to
That's not the next one.
Come on, Steve, don't walk on us
inspect?
now, man.
Hell, I mean, I just want to know
Well,
if we
can it-
did have it. No, I'm good. We need to put it on the next board meeting. But I'm just asking, so I'll have something. Can we implement it and can we police it if we do it? Do we have?
The only thing that we're actually doing is
here we go
policing
again.
inside platted subdivisions. We're not gonna be able to police people hauling dump trucks on the weekends, that's gonna be out. We know we can't deal with that. We're not dealing anything with logging trucks. We're specifically dealing with platted subdivisions.
But how many platted subdivisions are in Rankin County?
Too many.
It's a bunch.
I mean, we're talking hundreds.
No,
And-
it's 200 just in mine.
Well, maybe close to 1,000. I don't,
Could
but
be.
that's what I mean is if we do this, do we have the manpower to
Singling
enforce
out.
it? Who's, cause you gotta have somebody that's designated to handle those
It
matters.
really falls on Mike. It's falling on Mike.
I know.
But of course, our current ordinance is Reservoir Community District.
Right.
Right? So it's a platted subdivision inside the Reservoir Community District. And to help you guys further clarify what we're talking about here, the coverage aspect of this, the current ordinance, it only applies in situations where the subdivision is already complete and the roads have already been turned over to the county. Y'all understand, we don't need a haul bond ordinance for subdivisions that are under development, because we have letters of credit that are sitting in place, so that we're not even taking responsibility for the road until it's been inspected and turned over to us. So it only applies to existing subdivision developments that have already been turned over to the county for maintenance.
Yep.
So between now and the 15th, let's all
Yeah.
take time to read it, brush up on changes on it, and so we'll be ready to vote it for or vote it down.
It's
And-
been
and let's
huge,
do it
it's been
this
a
way.
huge help for me at the reservoir.
If you two that are really in favor of it have any additions you want to make to it before the 15th,
Yeah.
man, put it in there. Get Craig and put it in there, and let's redo it. And I like your idea, up or down. Let's
Yeah.
make a decision on the 15th. Be done with one way or another.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be addressed, whatever it is, enforcement. You know,
Yeah, but you're
compliance.
saying
whatever.
do all of them.
Yes.
platted subdivision.
And we're gonna change, it'll be changing the way it currently is written to where home builders will not be forced to post bond.
If I
Yes, sir.
may,
Who you direct?
just as a reminder,
Everybody. You know, I mean, home builders are.
Hey y'all, this is Mr. Slay. This is his baby here.
Yeah, I
He
know.
needs to make sure he
I'm
gets
gonna
this right.
I'm gonna get blamed for it.
All right.
We asked, Renee guys to help us with this, to do a canvassing
Yeah.
around the state, and we looked at multiple counties across the state, and they have put together a proposal that y'all can look at. We held them up because there didn't seem to be really any desire to want to pursue it any farther, right? So it just kind of has been sitting there, but they're ready to get it, to push it out. So if we're gonna take this up on the 15th, my suggestion would be, let me get them to push it out to you guys so y'all can look at the actual work product and decide if you wanna work within what they've put together, or if you wanna radically change it and deviate and go some other direction, or do nothing. But you need something to look at, so can I tell them to send it to you?
Yeah, but don't you think we need, this almost, as vast as this could be, we almost need, I don't know, I'm saying a public hearing, but we need some of the people that it's gonna affect to be made aware of it. I don't wanna make a decision and they go, well, I wish somebody had told us.
All right, well, we keep bringing it up and it keeps getting pushed under. I'm just saying, we're gonna have a definite day that we gonna vote on it.
Well, don't you think
You know.
though, that you ought to,
I'm all in favor of it.
Yeah.
Invite whoever you want to look at it and
Who
gather their
does,
input.
and who does it impact?
Yeah.
Currently, it's the home builders.
yeah.
Primarily developers.
But you said the home builders would be
Right now,
exempt.
the way it is written right now, the home builders are supposed to post a bond. And that is not, in my opinion,
On the
not the
discretion
right way to
of,
do it.
on the discretion of the road manager, right?
No, I don't think so. I think
What
they're
is,
supposed to post a
what
bond,
is,
period.
what is, Renee, help here, Tim, help here, what is the most prudent way to get the information out to these people to let them know we're getting ready to do this? Is it through the engineers, the people that help divine? I know the home builders, I guess we do have Home Builder Association.
Yes.
Do that, but far as the developers, you know, you got the 3 or 4 or 5 of them, you know, I assume they use Benchmark and the people in Jackson and, you know.
I want to just throw a suggestion out there, a logistical suggestion. Y'all need to see what's been put together and get comfortable with what you're looking at before you start blasting it out for other people to speak on.
Yeah.
Because it may be nothing like what you want it to be. I want y'all to be satisfied with whatever it is that you're gonna propose as.
I'm fine with that, but the way we were talking about it was we're gonna do something this day. And that, I'm fine with what you're saying, and that's good, because I don't wanna just walk in here and make a decision and none of them be aware, so.
All I want to do is set a day to deal with it, because we brought it up 2 or 3 times and have not dealt with it.
So
I'm
how about
good
a
with you.
discussion item on March 15th, where you will be discussing a proposed
That-
hall bond ordinance, okay?
You're gonna get the
Discussion.
duty to send out their proposal.
They'll be here.
Huh?
They will be here
Oh,
to
wonderful.
discuss it with you, all right? And I'll obviously be along for the ride. Then y'all can talk about next steps, which I think would be either the setting of a public hearing to get comments from those who are most affected.
Or we may vote it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but until y'all have decided that this is the direction we want to go, all of you have decided that, I think it would be unwise to push anything out to the public.
Well, I agree with you, but I thought the way Jay, you were wording it, is we're gonna decide this that day, and that was my point.
They came and presented their proposal to us 4 or 5 months ago, and we've not done anything with it.
Yeah. I don't think y'all like the reality of,
It was more than just,
dealing with rural
yeah, it was-
parts of the
it was-
county.
yeah, that part I didn't like.
It wasn't streamlined or defined down into a platted subdivision type of approach.
Yeah,
It
'cause
was
theirs
much
was
more
going
broad
overall.
spectrum.
It was a county-wide deal that we just could never get our hands around, I don't think. I never could get comfortable
I think
with
that's
what was
what-
being presented.
That's
reason,
why I
Jay.
said platted subdivisions.
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, and Jay, the way I've been handling it, I mean, Daniel was right. What we've got in the RC district, overlay district, is that it is my discretion. So what I've been doing is handling it like a logging permit. You know, I've been making them get me proof of insurance.
See, I think that's where part of the problem is too, that your discretion is not defined.
Right.
It's too much, well, if you want to or not. You know,
Well, I
we
mean,
can have
I'm in a situation right now, I mean, we did do a bond on the road over there. I've asked the homeowner to do another bond because they come to me and Craig, over a year ago, when the road was tore up to build the house. We said, hey, this is gonna be the number right now if you go in there and build it. Now they didn't build it. So now they're coming in wanting to do it again. That number went up and she's wanting to know why did it go up? Well, you know, the road was tore up, now it's completely overlaid. And so I'm asking for a bond from her, but it's kind of situation by situation, and I'm like
But
you,
there-
I'd like it clarified a little more, you
Is
know.
that
how I can-
situation in a platted subdivision?
Yes, sir. It is in a platted subdivision.
Yeah.
But what I have trouble with is, just like I got a permit, we've had to recall back. I mean, all he submitted was 2 roads, Glenview and Castlewood Boulevard. That didn't tell me where he's going on Castlewood Boulevard. Castlewood Boulevard, most of it's a no truck road anyway. So, didn't tell me where he was going. So we had to, somebody has to stop, make a call again to that builder. And what we're getting is I know where you at with homeowners, but a builder is the one that goes out there and starts the job from start to finish. He's the one that hires the subs to do it. And where I'm getting pushed around is I'm getting a dirt contractor to do this stuff. He's coming in, putting it in, then nobody else is following up behind it.
And here's
So
my thing.
I think you know, if he's a contract builder, I may be wrong on this, it's just my thought. You know, you may want to look at it that way, that he's the one that pulls the permit because he's paying all the subs. That's why we did it with the one that we did.
Here's my overall thing on it. I'm good with totally doing away with the hall bond.
Yeah.
We just need to understand that if we do it, when we go in and put $500,000 worth of asphalt and they tear it up, we're gonna have to vote to put the asphalt right back.
But, you know, Dan, that's no different
It's
than
okay.
how we operated up until we
I just-
did this 2 years ago.
I just wanna be
you
sure
know?
everybody's good with that.
Well, I mean, there's no difference than Mike maintaining every road we got. You know, just cause one road gets tore up doesn't mean we're gonna jump out there and get on it
Right,
the next
but
week.
well, the problem is our
Yeah.
budget won't allow me to do it because we got 37 miles of asphalt overlay needed in District 2. 37 miles of it, which we can't get to by no means. So if I go back and just say I could squeeze off maybe 4 or 5 miles of it, if we pull off 4 or 5 miles of that to do, and somebody tears it back up, I just wasted the 4 or 5 miles I got.
I understand.
So my point is, I'm fine with doing away with it. I just want the board to understand that when we come back into it,
That you're gonna want the road repaired.
that's all it is.
I get it, I do, and I think everybody understands that. But
And,
the way it currently is, I want it changed.
But I know what y'all looking at, and just something to think about, is some of these subdivisions that just have one road into them, Some of these subdivisions have ultimate routes in them, but some of them, we're talking about just a platted subdivision, but it may be a mile of road that goes into that subdivision, we may have to look at. Just something to think about, Jay,
But
when you're thinking about all
intruding one
this.
house is not going to cause any damage to the road any more than a school bus or a garbage truck does on a daily basis.
That's
I don't
where
know.
part of the
I've
problem
seen-
is,
I've
because
seen-
they get aware, that some of
I've
the wear
seen one
is
house
created by
tear
these
it up
others.
for,
Is these others, and
Yeah.
then we try to blame the builder, because it's already got some wear created by the garbage truck, the school bus, and
And it just depends on how intense you
They
get, is how
build
much
swimming
help you're
pools
gonna
or
have to do this.
Yeah.
That's just what I wanted to comment on.
If we don't mind fixing what they tear up, I don't care.
a lot of times, though, what they tear up is really small. It's not like you're gonna do the whole road. It's just
I think
bad
this,
place.
I think this discussion is moving on to the 15th anyway, so let's push it on down the road. to
While I
the
was up
15th.
here, Mr. Carl was talking about buildings, I did want to tell y'all where we're at on the new county facility.
Yes.
We're trying to get power in there right now. We pushed it back a little bit, so that's kind of delayed me a little bit. Gas, we get those in there, I feel like we'll be in the facility by the middle of March. So,
2 weeks.
yes, sir, if we can get the
Wow.
gas and the power hooked
We
up.
started that building when?
November, we poured a slab, and November 1st, we poured a slab.
And how much is your square footage price, you think?
We're still holding it about 70 right now,
How many square foot?
16,000.
16,000, November to now. We need to
70
get
square foot.
we need to get some builders that can
So you
come.
got any, projection dates yet on the gas and power?
The power's already there. We've got it installed. I think it'll be in there by the first of the week, Jay. The gas, I got to get on the horn back with the gas. There's a gas line out there. They're supposed to be done hooked it up, but I'm not getting much headway, so
There's gas to the building? Or down
gas
the
on the
road?
main road out there, but they never put gas on that line. It was pressure checked and everything, but they got to gas that line up. Then they got to make the tap, to the building, but that's where we're kind of at with the building, We're going to we'd be through by now if all that was in there. But, we pushed that back a few weeks ago just because we had some other things that we was looking at. So it just kind of delayed me back a little bit, getting everything started. So I just wanted to let y'all know we should be complete in the next 2 to 3 weeks
Sure,
on
you'll be
that.
glad to get everybody home.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to let y'all know that.
Hey, but now you still have other things to deal with there, so.
Yeah, we still have some, we're just gonna end up right now, we're getting our shop and office out there, but we got the dirt work pretty well done on the laydown yard, but we'll be at our old facility as far as materials through the biggest part of summer until this thing dries up. No need in trying to fight that out there right now with it wet.
We'll worry about buying that scale later.
Well, actually, since you brought it up, I'll go and talk about it. We are in need for a set of scales. I stopped to work on our scales the other day. We speak to spend another $3,000 on our scales. They wore out. We're spending money on these scales every year. They have to be certified by the agricultural commissioner, and they have to meet certain standards, and ours are just getting too costly to repair now. There's 2 options we can do. We can either put a set of scales out there, one cost deal, and we're through with it, or we can put scales on our loaders. As we load material, it's going to give us a printout. Now, it's not going to be as accurate as a set of scales.
right.
What we really use our scales at is weighing our material in that we're receiving to make sure they're accurate with our weight tickets that we're getting.
Which
So
most of that is around gravel, right?
most of it revolves around clay gravel and wash gravel. All my
Did you
other,
say that
all my
one
other-
of our providers now has put scales on
I
their
said that.
location?
he has, but I don't know that it's certified, Jay,
I think they are.
on that.
Well, if it's certified, could we not get a copy of that? If
Yeah,
if
we
we
could.
had that part taken care of, would we still need scales?
Just, if y'all okay with just guesstimating the material back out that we receive.
You talking, what do you mean? What we take back out?
So when we get the material in, it's just in a big stockpile.
Right.
So we just guess at what's going out. I mean, we're just guessing that it's 5 tons.
But
The
it's,
reason why you're saying that, just keep up an inventory. Rick.
That's right.
no,
I try to keep,
'cause we're the only ones getting that, so we're the only ones using it.
that's right.
Right.
But I mean, it just don't make my cost on my roads very accurate when I'm guessing at it. I mean, you miss
Oh,
2 or
yeah,
3
right.
tons here and
What
there.
did you say about scales on your loader?
We can go in and put scales on our loaders, that every time he picks up a bucket,
Man, I
load of
like
material.
that. When you change out
But
equipment.
when you change out equipment, it's another, you got that cost
I
every
don't
4
like that.
years.
No, I don't like it at all.
You'll have to put in
That's
about 3 rounds you
Small
don't pay
time.
for a set of scales to put in the facility.
Okay.
But it won't cost, it costs $100,000 to put a set of scales in. I think I can get them less. The guy told me the other day somewhere around 65 or 70, but when I first quoted and looked at it, they had told me $100,000 to set them up over there.
Well, we really need to find somebody who went belly up and buy some, don't we?
I bet you could find some.
Well, he said the problem is, you know, you buy it just like us. You know, I said, well, can we sell our set of scales? And he said, well, yes, but they won't certify. You know, everybody wants a set of scales is gonna want them certified. And
Well, what are we worried about certified? I mean,
because that's, I mean, the same way if
I
it's.
know on the coming in part, but
Right.
we don't really have to have it certified for us going out.
No, sir. But I mean, right now, our scales are weighing right at 3,000 off on every truck, so, I mean, it
You
wouldn't be no
almost probably
need
need
in
it
weighing them, you know?
Probably need it certified going out, make sure somebody's not coming in on the weekend and helping themselves.
That's what I mean,
a
just for
couple loads.
inventory, but,
You know.
Well, we got one
How they gonna get it?
vendor
Run
that
one
has
of our roads?
certified
One thing
scales.
to protect this board,
scoop?
you know.
What if we use another vendor? Somebody else?
well, up to-
I mean, we can require
Thanks.
it, we can require it on our bid tab, we just never have. You know, some of our stuff does require that way, we can require all our stuff to be done on a certified scale, and we don't have to fool with it.
How can you get, if our scales were like not 100 years old, how can they come out and certify?
Yearly?
They usually come by my scales at least once every 3 quarters.
Once a quarter. They'll have stickers like
I got a sticker from
about.
Agriculture Commission that's stuck on my scales
Yep,
down
yep.
there, that they come,
You know, is there a place, let's just say you found a
Just do like any other scale. If it's on
great
the
looking
order,
set
we
of
just need-
scales, is there a way to have them checked? And I guess
I mean, it's just for
somebody check them
reasons, you know.
before we actually purchase them.
That's $100,000.
you could, Jared, but I mean, it's just like my scales. I mean, to move my scales, old scales from where they are to my new facility cost me $50,000.
Okay.
So you go buy a set of scales, it's $30,000 or $40,000, then you gotta get them transported, because if you don't transport them right, you just messed them up.
Well, I just wanted you to break the ice so everybody knew. we
Well,
were-
I mean, just like, Leon, wonder how he moved them big son of a guns. He's got, that's huge.
I just won't comment on that. But-
He moved them.
Can we?
I can move mine. I mean, I can pick them up and move them, but I mean, I'm not guaranteeing they're gonna
Then
be
he had
right.
them, and then I'm sure, and they're supposedly
Yeah.
then,
Mike.
recertified.
You're not moving the inventory until middle of the summer or later.
Yes, right. But
Yeah,
I
we
just
don't- we
wanted
don't
to
have
let
to-
y'all,
No,
me
we
and
don't
Jay had
decide
talked
it
about it
now.
the other day, and I just wanted to let
Between now
y'all.
and then, let's look at our options, because, I mean, until we move our inventory, we can keep doing what
Right,
we're doing.
right.
And,
I just want everybody to be aware that that's something that we have to deal with.
yes,
I
sir.
mean, they was
Well,
put
we
in
can get
years,
around some
that
of
was the
that
reason they was put
certified
in
coming
years
in.
ago, was to check stuff, and, on that, so I'm just letting y'all know that our scales are not cost effective to move over there, you know. That's where they at. So I just wanted to let y'all know that.
Mr.
All right.
President, I'd like to make a motion to such a need to go into executive session.
No
we have
more
one?
additional business, right?
Now, Jay does not have anything
Okay, no
else to
other additional
discuss.
business.
No, and you weren't supposed to
do
do
we-
that. I wanted to do that.
Do we
Sorry.
have a need for an executive session?
Yes,
we
sir.
do.
All right,
I made
you
the
made a
motion.
motion to go into
Yeah.
executive session.
Personnel.
Second.
And
All right.
That's the need.
Personnel,
Pers-
and IT, and what, litigation?
We have potential for
Potential
settlement
litigation.
of a litigated matter.
Maybe,
Oh,
maybe.
Maybe.
I make a motion to make that, discuss the need. Somebody second it, Daniel second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
I make a motion on the need for litigation, personnel, IT, what was it?
No.
Is that it? I get it, Mr. Officer? I make that motion.
Daniel seconded. All in favor? Aye.
That'll work. Oh, you want to stand
Photo
up?
man.
Let him have the moment here.
Getting out of the way.
They ain't got on a tie or nothing, you know?
Short timer.
Come on, Jay.
He wants by himself, dog.
Oh, I thought we was gonna do it. I'd rather